Hi everyone, it's me again, Petronilla. I'm a nurse practitioner, family nurse practitioner. I would like to continue where I stopped in the previous video. Last time I was talking about where do I go to after my nurse practitioner course. Today I want to talk about the difference between the AANP and ANCC examinations or tests. So AANP refers to American Association of Nurse Practitioners, whereas ANCC is American Nurses Credentialing Center. So those two exams test slightly differently, but not necessarily too differently. What is the difference? The AANP mostly focuses on clinical questions, whereas the AANC is mainly based, it has clinical questions, but it also has other questions like evidence-based practice, ethics, policies, research. So it doesn't necessarily focus on only clinical questions. What else is different? 100% multiple questions for AANP, but for ANCC, they have different formats, including multiple choice, multiple answers, pictures, among others. I would like to speak at this point and say, honestly, I did not see much of these different formats because I took the ANCC. I saw mostly multiple choice. Maybe I only saw one multiple answer question. The other difference is that AANP has 150 questions, 30% of which are about adults. And of these 150 questions, only 135 are scored. The other questions are for practice. So if you come across questions that don't seem to make any sense, don't you worry. They might be part of those that are not going to be scored. ANCC, on the other hand, has 175 questions and only 150 of these are scored. The other 25 are for practice. The cost. AANP costs $315, whereas ANCC is $395. It also matters whether you belong to an association, like for example, American Nurses Association. Your costs can go lower if you belong to those. Where are these exams preferred? The primary care will not care which exam you take. And very many people prefer just doing the AANP and being done with it. However, for specialties and academia, it's important that you do ANCC if that is your focus, mainly because of the other material that is captured, like ethics, policies, research, and those favor those areas. And you will find that many people who hire might want in those particular areas like research and academia, they will mainly ask for ANCC. However, that is rare. Mostly it's either or the other. They work almost perfectly well for whichever job. As some specialties will demand the ANCC. For example, mental health, you cannot take AANP, you have to take ANCC. What is the difference in terms of duration? You take AANP in a maximum of 3 hours and ANCC 3.5 hours. How about if you fail the exam the first time? You have to wait for both for 60 days. So you cannot do the exam immediately after you fail. You have to wait for 60 days. However, the alternative is if you fail AANP test, you can take the ANCC the next day if you like. Nothing will stop you. What titles do you get by doing AANP versus ANCC? So once you take AANP, you become an NPC, meaning you are a certified nurse practitioner. The other one, ANCC, will give you NPBC. That's my title. NPBC, a nurse practitioner who is board certified. What is the passing rate of each of them? Honestly, both are equally good. Incidentally, whereas people think that ANCC is more difficult, a lot of data out there shows that ANCC has a higher passing rate than AANP. However, I cannot be quoted on this because there is so much evidence out there of different scores. I would say both of them are equally good. What do you need to renew AANP versus ANCC? So for AANP, you need to have 1,000 clinical hours, and this must be in patient care, administration, or research, or you retake the exam in 5 years. You also have to do 100 CEs. With the ANCC, it's a little more dynamic. You don't have to do clinical hours. It can be professional development. You can be teaching or precepting. It can be academic credits. And an alternative to this also is after 5 years, you retake the exam and you will be certified afresh. How do you receive your scores? With the AANP, you receive your email as soon as you're done with the exam, and you get your results immediately. With the ANCC, you receive your score immediately on the screen only if you have failed. If you have passed, you do not receive your score on the screen. You get it through email. What else to be careful about when you go to those examination rooms? The monitored situation, they usually have a very cold environment. Make sure you dress warmly. Just an observation at the end of all this. Thank you so much for listening to me. Look out for more videos coming your way regarding the nurse practitioner profession, and I appreciate you being with me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and look out for more videos. Thank you.